welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Ryan's Tech Guide, and I'm here to help you with your tech. So tonight's video is going to be a little different. We're going to go into another branch of technology. We're going to go into the gaming world. Now, this is my favorite. This is something I've been doing for a very long time. In gaming since I was probably 13 years old, obviously on much older computers than the current one I have now. Anyway, tonight's going to be basically a video buyer's guide for beginners, people that have never really looked at it, or if their parents trying to buy a gaming system for their child. This is going to be your guide to help you. Basically, what we're going to talk about is we're going to go over, like, are they back gaming computers? Why are they so good? We're also going to go into custom builds or pre-built. We're also going to go through 5 tips that I think that will help you whenever you're trying to shop for them. So with that, let's just get right into it. So gaming PCs, are they back and why are they so great? Well, first of all, are they back? Yes, they are. This is a niche market. This is something that's grown again in the last few years. A number of people that I've known that actually want to buy computers, a lot of them have asked me, like, should I buy a gaming computer? I really want to get into it, which surprises me actually, because gaming computers as a whole, like the PC tower style, has always been told that it's going to eventually go. No one's going to buy them anymore. The whole world's going to be on mobile and that's it. But you know what? That's not the case here. A lot of people like to have the tower on their desk for gaming specifically. These machines are very powerful. They can do quite a bit with the games and other things as well. People obviously have, other needs such as video editing now, especially with the YouTube market, and creating content and doing photo editing and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, as good as laptops are, gaming PCs, as far as I'm concerned, are the best way to do all of those tasks and then some. So that's why I think they're so great. They're very versatile. They keep going for years on end. And all you have to do is just basically add a few components, like add more memory, maybe a new video card, and the computer is still just as good. The processors today are far better than they've ever been. So basically, that's why I think they're great. And I think that it's something someone should consider. The next question I get quite often is actually pre-built or custom built. So what that means is normally when you go into a store like Staples, Best Buy, even Walmart, Canada Computers, they actually will have computers already pre-built by companies such as Acer, HP, and all that. And basically these computers all have some gaming components in it, especially if that's what they're focusing on. I prefer the custom build. Now that's where you can go to a shop like Canada Computers, which offers a service, I believe, that you could actually say, take these pieces of, like, these different components of computer, put them together and assemble a system for me. Or if you know someone who does that kind of work, such as myself, you can actually build a pretty custom machine, and it can be very powerful and very strong for a very long time. So which is better? My preference is the custom build, because you know what you're getting. You're getting the quality parts, especially if the person is what they recommend. And these parts can last years. These computers can run for years on end, no downtime. So that's why I always say custom is the way to go. But again, it comes down to budget too. If you don't have a lot of money and you're working within a certain amount, then obviously pre-built's another way to go, because they do offer really good deals. So we're not going to ignore that. But absolutely, my preference, of course, custom build, A, because I can do it, and B, I just love the components that you can get with this now. So the 5 tips I'm going to go over. So tip 1, when you're looking to buy for someone or yourself, always consider Ryzen as for gaming PCs. Now, I feel Ryzen is the number one. Intel's been around for a very long time, many, many, many years, and they have great processors as well. Let's be honest, Intel's has been the gold standard for overall processors. But AMD in the last 5 or so years, if not longer, has really come on, especially with this Ryzen processor. That's what's powering this video right now. Actually, it's a Ryzen 5900 XT, which in IT term is like probably one of the top of the line processors out there. You can get a variety of different ones at different price points, but I just feel AMD Ryzens give the best bang for your buck, and they will last forever. And the price point, again, there's always sales for desktop components. That's another thing to consider. And you can build a really nice rig for a really good price. So Ryzen is what I recommend to people. Now, this one, like I said, is a 5900 XT. That's a little more than what most people can go, but anything between the 5000 series, is pretty much the standard today. 3000 was around for a long time. Now it's starting to be phased out. 4000 series has also there's available, but the 5000 is the one to look at today. Tip number 2, when you're buying your tower or configuring it, always be sure to put a very large hard drive, a physical drive in the computer. Now there's different kinds of drives, or M.2s that's out there. That's obviously a lot of people now. That's becoming a standard you find in laptops mostly. In my machines that I build, I put that as my C drive, of course, because of the ridiculous speeds they have now. But if you want storage for your games, and these games are massive, they have a big install. They are some of the cinematics on these games are like watching a movie. Okay. Like I play a lot of Call of Duty and those kind of games. And some of the games, especially in the first player part, like the single player, it's just like watching a film. And that takes a lot of drive space and a lot of power to do. So the best thing to do is always have a hard drive when you buy included in your build. So I always go between 4 terabyte and 8 terabyte. Now, what's a terabyte? It's the size, a measurement of size. And basically 1 terabyte is equivalent to 1,000 gigabytes, which it's just an enormous amount of drive space. But again, these games fill them up quick. So if you can find a machine that has, let's say, a 1 terabyte for your C drive where your Windows sits on, and then you add a 4 or a 5, 6 terabyte drive included in that, you can actually have lots of storage for your games, which is, again, a big thing to do. So always keep that in consideration when you're buying. Tip 3, if your budget permits, always make sure you select 32 gig of RAM. Now, I didn't think 32 gig of DDR4, which is the standard today. Right now, it's changing. The 5, I believe, is coming out right now. Is would make a difference. Okay, because over the years, one of the rule of thumbs about gaming and general computing is that, oh, you don't need more than 8 gig of RAM. Oh, no, you don't need more than 16. Well, you know what? Now I added 32 gig of RAM to this machine, and the because it's Windows 11, I mean, the difference with the games alone was unbelievable. I could not get over how much more crisp the gameplay was. It was almost like, again, like I was standing there. And I mean, it just runs smoother. It's worth the extra money. Now, RAM has been very steady in price right now. RAM's always been known as a commodity that will go up and down depending on what happens, whether it's an earthquake or some kind of global chip shortage or anything else. But RAM right now is actually pretty stable. So the prices are quite low. So when you're building your tower, always be sure to include 32 gig of DDR4 or 5, depending if you're moving up to the higher tier. But always be sure you have that. You will not regret it. It's a really good thing. Tip number 4, and this is important. This is a big one. The video card is king. Now, the video card obviously is makes sense. It runs the video of what you're playing. The thing is that you never skimp on your video card. You always go out and pay. Now, I have never been shy to pay north of $500 for a video card. I mean, there are cards out there that are $1,500, $2,000 for a card. Now, I don't feel for the average user or person, especially getting into gaming, requires that. If you choose to buy, that's great. But I don't believe it's necessary. I think, between let's say 500 and maybe 650, which I know sounds like quite a bit, and it is. But the secret is that it will give you the longevity as the games get even more sophisticated. It'll give you that future proofing, as they call it. It'll give you that extra amount of time. Like the card that I'm running in here is a 2060. It's actually aged extraordinarily well. And the thing is that I don't have any intention of changing it, right? It's just doing the job. The video card is everything. Be sure to not skimp on that. So NVIDIA is my choice. NVIDIA is the card that I like to buy. The current one that's powering is a 2060 in here. That is the current card I'm using, is NVIDIA. And like I said, AMD has a lot of options. They do offer a little lower in price. NVIDIA does tend to be a little higher, but I do like their quality better. That's just personal preference. So I recommend NVIDIA. The current series is the 3000 series. So you'll have the 30, 50, 60, 70, 80. And of course, as you go up in those numbers, that's just the model numbers. They just get way more expensive as you rise. And I mean, they have the TI, which is another name added, which adds a little more. I mean, there's different monikers that you see on these cards, but the 3000 series is the standard. And the 4000 series, I believe, is coming out very shortly, which also could mean that the price may drop with the 3000. The good news is that it looks like the video card market is stabilized during all what was going on in the world. Video cards were almost impossible to buy, and they were almost like the price was just insane. Nobody, the average user, could not afford a video card, in my opinion. So, anyway, now things have stabilized, which is great. So, absolutely keep that in mind. The video card, do not skimp on it. And tip number 5, and the last one for this video, is IPS monitor or 4K. Now, when you're gaming and you're buying a lot of this high end equipment, obviously the monitor you're using, you need to have a really nice monitor. Now, there's a number of different panels: IPS, 4K, TN. Now, I mean, I did a video on monitors earlier on. You either go with an IPS or 4K. That's what you want for the gaming. That will give you the most impact for your games. That will show you. But again, you have to remember, you need the video card to have the capabilities, especially 4K. Everyone says, "Oh, I'm going to buy a 4K monitor." A lot of people do. Okay, well, does your computer have a 4K card built into it? Can it support that? No, it can't, or I don't know. Well, then why would you buy a 4K? Buy a 1080p, which is the IPS one that you see in that banner, and that will give you really good video on top of that. So these are things you have to keep in mind when you're buying with a gaming machine. Just the higher resolutions with the video card you buy, the monitor will dictate. So that's why I'm saying always be sure to check those things when you're buying or building it. So that's what I'm thinking about for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I hope you had some value from it. I highly recommend these computers. They are so much fun to use. They last forever. My machines tend to last like 10 years long, sometimes even longer. Obviously, you don't try to keep your machine that long, but I mean, thing is, it does literally everything on top of the games. And I mean, even word processing, YouTube watching, emails, reading the news, everything you can think of a computer, basically, a gaming system will do it all. So please consider that whenever you're buying a machine, especially if you want to spend a little more money, or if you have a loved one who really wants a machine for gaming with their friends. Gaming towers are the way to go. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like my content, please hit like or subscribe. If you want to find out more about what I'm doing, please hit the notification bell on the right. And with that, thanks very much, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.